drawing some loose ends together, but also just based on the way the conversation was going there with Sterling and his bit of research that says the Chinese said they've got the oldest population. And of course, this is one thing we'll be hearing is that, the Aboriginals, the longest surviving civilization on Earth. But that led me to think, well, isn't the theory that, Africa was the place where the human origins started? And of course, North Africa, not too far from Mount Ararat, where we're thinking of Adam and Eve, and of course then the Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. When we think about these things, there must be lots of theories around who's got the oldest living civilization. But having said that, and I know you could actually expound lots of things there, but another thing's going through my mind. There's this concept of mitochondrial Eve, that all races extend back to one couple, Adam and Eve. So mitochondrial Eve and mitochondrial Adam. How do we make sense of where all of these races or these peoples came from as one set of parents?
Okay, you've hit the nail on the head for a story which first originated as a theory in Australia. The man who did the work on trying to establish how many women were there in the beginning, right? Because he'd observed that DNA has a fragment of mitochondrial stuff in it that you only get from your mother, right? So he analysed all the DNA of the groups that were available and reached the conclusion there's so little variation in mitochondrial DNA. At the most, we've come from one woman, and she was called Mitochondrial Eve. Right now, if you want to say 1 and 1 is 2, then Adam and Eve go with that story, handed out of a basket, right? So in reality, the evidence from mitochondrial DNA matches the biblical account. In the same way, the studies of DNA in dingoes indicates that they haven't been here for more than 4,000 to 5,000 years, and they came from India. And the studies of Aboriginal DNA also find their equivalent in India as well. So they've actually migrated here in the same way as my dad did. Right, so we are from overseas. We match the biblical account of things moving out from the Middle East. How do I know that? I was watching a program on Pakistan the other day, and they talked about their wild dogs, which they pronounce kucha. Now, Dr. Alan Hall was an Aboriginal linguist here in Australia. He worked with us as well. He said, we have a word for wild dog, kucha. It's still an Indian word. As they've migrated here, they brought the language remnants with them, and it all points to the biblical account of Noah and therefore his offspring, whether you're black, white or yellow. These are more than just natural selections, by the way. There's actually genetic mutation or degeneration involved. So I have freckles. I'm a degenerate mutant, right? So what you've got is the descendants from Noah. But again, the issue is Adam's sin, Christ's salvation in all of this. That is the only way you'll sort out any of these things. So get out with the Aborigines and love them, and get out with the Europeans and tell them they need Christ.